Now I want us to figure out how to divide rational numbers. And it turns out if we just think about what we already know a little bit carefully, we'll figure out the whole thing for ourselves. Let's check out this simple question here. What is 12 divided by 3? Well, that answer we know is 4. Nothing really new there. But let me ask you a different question. What is 12 times 1/3? Well, how would you do this? We're multiplying fractions. This is actually viewed as a fraction if we want, because remember that every whole number is actually that whole number divided by 1. There's an invisible 1 in the denominator of every whole number. And so how do we multiply fractions? We simply multiply the tops, multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. And so here we get 12 times 1 is 12, over 3 times 1, which is 3. And so once we notice we can actually factor that a little bit, we see 3 times 4 as the numerator, 3 as the denominator. And look, we can reduce the common factors, and we're left with just 4. Now check it out. We got the exact same answer. And so this process that we see here, this versus that, have to be equivalent. So let's see what we did. Here I took 12 divided by 3, and here I looked at 12 times 1/3. And remember that 1/3 is the reciprocal of 3. Take 3, switch the numerators and denominators, you get 1/3. And it turns out this always holds. So if you have a number divided by a second number, that's the same as just taking the number and multiplying it by the reciprocal of the second number. That's how you multiply fractions. Neat. Well, armed with this as our intuition, let's see some examples that are genuinely new for us. So here we go. 5/12 divided by 3/4. How do we proceed? Well, we already know what we want to do here is change this to a multiplication question. So the division gets replaced by multiplication, and we take this second number and we write its reciprocal. So we flip the roles of numerator and denominator. And now we can actually do some fancying reducing. 12 is actually 4 times 3. And so I've got this common factor of 4 on the top and the bottom that I can reduce. And so what am I left with? I'm left with 5 times the invisible 1 that's left over here, divided by 3, multiplied by 3, which is 9. So the answer is 5/9. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as just multiplying by its reciprocal. That's the moral here. What if we have a mixed number? The first thing we'd have to do is to convert the mixed number into a fraction. So let's convert this to a improper fraction. 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 is 16. So I could write this as 16 over 3. And now I'm going to divide that by 3. Remember, 3 is the same thing as 3 over 1. And so now I have 16 over 3. And I convert that to a multiplication by the reciprocal of 3, which is 1/3. And so that equals 16 over 9. And that can be written as 1 7/9 if you want to write it as a mixed number. And this is the answer as an improper fraction. Let me just point out something here that maybe will be confusing to some people. They might see the 3 and the 3 here, and they might sort of have this dream about canceling. Do not give in to that dream. You can only cancel, you can only reduce when you're multiplying. So you have to first convert the question to a multiplication question, and then if you have common factors that you can reduce, do so. But here, it looks like you want to be able to reduce, but you can't. So be cautious of that. So be very, very cautious. Very cautious. You can only reduce when you're multiplying. Neat. Otherwise, go right ahead and change the division to a multiplication and take that second number and look at its reciprocal. Fun stuff.